Well, this segment takes me out to the fire station on Moon Ridge Road, where they have a piece of equipment that is amazing that I want you to see. Here's a pickup truck, and it's hooked to it. Look at this. This is a trailer, and what it does will just amaze you. Hi, Jeff Swing, firefighter. Oh man, this is really something. This really helps in fires, basically, doesn't it?
It does. This is called the Incident Support Trailer. It's in Support 281, and we acquired it last year for the Big Bear Lake Fire Department. And the intent of this is to provide two types of support: general support to large incidents and emergency medical support to large incidents.
Oh yeah. And of course it went out on a fire last fall.
It went out on 3 fires last year.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, so 3 14 to 21 day fires it was on.
Wow. So it's for rent? Or
not for rent. It's actually, there's a contract just like any of our engines or any of our equipment have with the U.S. Forest Service. So our personnel can take it just like we would an engine.
It's like a mutual aid?
It's absolutely part of mutual aid.
Oh, I see. That's great. Well, let's go in and see what it's all about.
Okay.
It looks like it's Emergency Operations Center, but you say it's not quite that here.
It's set up to function very similarly to an Emergency Operations Center. With very specific targets in mind.
Oh yeah.
This is set up. This is the mobile satellite unit. So this is a self-locating via GPS satellite. It does both two-way internet, telephone, and TV. So
wow.
if you were looking at a large incident, for example, in the Big Bear Valley, you could watch from your mobile command post what's going on CNN with the televised coverages, along with transferring internet data and fax back and forth. And you can always have a telephone if the lines were to go down.
Wow. This is a generator. This goes with it because you need power.
This is not actually part of this. There's a built-in generator.
Oh, is there?
This is an auxiliary generator for this station.
I see. Okay. Let's go in. Oh, the way it's swinging around. Okay, here we are inside, and wow. Explain everything. Now this...
So what you have here is the brain unit to the satellite.
Okay.
So this is the satellite brain. It gives it all its function and controls. You can see the GPS, the local area network, the HughesNet that's set up for television and internet. There's a mobile laptop which is stored in here, which is the brain segment of this, tells it what to do.
Wow.
As you look down this way, you can see everything's networked in with cables and routers, along with that telephone I was speaking to you about, and a local radio. And everything's wired into a printer, so you can basically plug your laptop in, complete whatever function you choose, and print, fax.
Wow.
There's also a television here. That's both hooked into the satellite and hooked into the computers. So if you wanted to show a fire imagery map, anything that you want to show to multiple people from your computer, you can also put it up here on the screen and take a look at it from there.
Wow.
This is all our baseline paperwork down here, along with the control modules. So that's where we keep all our basic files. Each compartment is set up with a little bit different equipment in it.
Sure.
There's the very basics like a refrigerator to keep nice cold water around, simple things like that.
Yeah, so if they had to stay in here for 3 or 4 days.
No, absolutely. You could maintain this for a long period of time.
Right. It's got a refrigerator here and bathroom there, sink there. Now what's this?
This is one of our cardiac monitors. This is set up for advanced life support, delivering paramedic care. And as you look down here, you can just see some basic medical supplies that are kept.
Oh, right.
And underneath the benches, you'll see boxes that are all labeled.
Yeah.
Each one of these boxes is labeled for a different portion of the incident command system. The supply unit, the situation unit, the finance unit, operations, all the way down. So that each segment of the incident command system can come in, grab their box out that has all their basic startup supplies.
Oh, sure.
And begin their function. Since this is an emergency medical trailer also, it's also set up with advanced cardiac life support equipment. And then inside the cabinets, which I unlocked for you, you see there's a baseline of over-the-counter medications.
Oh, wow.
So when you're at a large fire with several thousand people, you get a lot of the same problems you get at home, only you don't have access to a drugstore like you do at home.
Sure.
So we have everything from bug off to sunscreen, your basic over-the-counter medications, disinfectants for poison oak, poison ivy,
Wow.
along with your over-the-counter aspirins, Motrin, Tums, everything you could possibly imagine that you could need as far as your cold and ailments or illnesses while you're on a fire.
Right. This is just amazing. Now, in addition to this, you have a little portable one that Assistant Chief Mills showed us that had also a satellite system. It's just a little portable, but that can be used too in...
Yeah, that can accompany this, or that can go separately. That could also be used at the station, whereas this is all part of one package.
Yeah, this is a package in
together.
itself.
It is.
Wow. Well, let's hope it's not used this year, but let's hope if there is a wildfire that this helps.
Yeah, I would certainly hope so. There's no question. I don't believe that it will go somewhere this year. I just hope it's not our valley.
Yeah, I know. We don't want another one 2 years ago that we had. Wow, this is just amazing. And this is called
The IS-281, which stands for Incident Support Unit 281.
281. And of course, Big Bear Fire Department is 281. I want to see the big unit that you really helped design over there. A lot of people don't know. They see it going by, think it's just a rescue unit. Well, it is a rescue unit, but it's quite a rescue unit. It's almost one of a kind.
I would say so.
Yeah, let's go over there. One great piece of equipment, you got to see this one. This has been with the Big Bear Lake Fire Department for a while, but this is probably a unit that can rescue just about anything. You've seen it roll to accidents, seen it roll to the ski resorts, and I've shown a couple of times over the side in Arctic Circle. It can also do that. It's a really all-in-one rescue unit. And Jeff, you had a lot to do with this one. I mean, you really helped the manufacturer design it and compartments and what you needed. And
this was designed specifically for the Big Bear Lake Fire Department.
Right.
So it was a custom unit based on the pretty unique needs of our mountain.
It's really, really something. Can do just about anything. Got jaws of life.
Absolutely. You can see this is the power unit for the extrication tools, also known as the jaws of life. So power unit cribbing. We have airbags in here for lifting heavy objects, sets of chains.
Yeah, sometimes on an accident, auto accident, you can't really get to the people in the car in such a position. So you can use these airbags to lift the car up far enough so they can be extricated from the vehicle.
Yeah, that's one example of how they're used. Another example is on structure collapses. We had a few houses that collapsed this year due to the high snow loads.
Oh, yeah.
And it's used for lifting any heavy object. It could be a vehicle that's on top of somebody. It could be a piece of concrete. It could be just about anything up to 10 tons.
Wow. That's a generator.
Yeah, this is actually the power unit. It's a hydraulic power unit. It actually runs through these reels, which go to our extrication tools. We have our spreaders, what we call a ram, which is a pushing unit. You have a cutter.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have a long ram. So depending on the unique accident and how the accident occurred, when we're extricating somebody, we basically have to take the vehicle apart in the same fashion in which it was damaged. So all of these tools can be used to go ahead and accomplish that.
Wow.
So you get back here,
look at all these.
You have a couple complements of ladders. These are ladders that go anywhere from 8 to 14 feet. You have 2 Stokes baskets up there for over the side like you were speaking of.
Right.
High lift jacks.
Oh, yeah.
These are rescue struts. We use air to power these. They can lift and stabilize.
Wow.
You'll see these are short ones. We have medium ones to the rear here, and then long ones on the back side.
Wow.
So you pretty much have any tool for any job. Down here you have a series of small saws for getting into fine spaces. Yeah, some cribbing blocks. This whole compartment you see underneath here is full of cribbing blocks.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
So pretty much every size and shape. That black bag holds an air hammer for cutting and breaching. That red container holds a 12-inch circular saw for cutting large beams. As you get to the next compartment back, this is what we would call our confined space compartment. So these are what we call SABAs, S-A-B-As. They're like what we wear into fires, but they're much smaller, so when we go into confined spaces, they don't get caught and tangled.
Oh yeah.
Sked is a sliding tool that we use to get people out of those, very much like a backboard, but it's long and slippery. You have a thermal imaging camera located here. You have some fiber optic cameras located back there, so you can look into tight spaces and clearly see what's behind them. And there's a communication kit which ties into this line right here, which also ties into air. So you have air communications all in one line, so you can speak to the people who are up top. For example, when we were down in the sewer system this year looking for a couple kids that were lost down there, that's how we could keep in touch easily.
Oh sure, that was down on the boulevard.
Yes, it was.
Right. Middle school kids.
I do recall, yes.
Yep, and they were all found.
They were. Now this is our emergency medical compartment. So you have all of our basic emergency medical bags, and this one is set at the paramedic level.
Wow. A lot of people don't realize that now firefighters are also paramedics.
That's correct. The
They're
vast majority of
AMGs.
them are.
That's right. That was a smart move, don't you think?
It was.
And we got good ones, I tell you, here. I'm so proud of our Big Bear Lake Fire Department. Well, I'm proud of all of them up here, but Big Bear Lake has a lot of really top flight equipment. They're the only ones that have this unit and that unit. They're the only ones that have the ladder unit that goes, what, 75 feet?
Yeah, 75 feet.
About 75 feet. It goes up to the height of any building in the valley. Okay. Okay, now we're on the other side of this piece of equipment, and Jeff, I don't think there's anything here that you lack. I mean, just about any situation, you've got something to do it.
That's the intent of a rescue unit of this size and magnitude, is to be able to handle 99% of your rescues with one unit.
Right.
There is instances where we have to call for help, just as people call and request our help. At the same time, you can begin the majority of any operation based off of what's already in this unit.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So what you have back here is a 9 kW generator that's pre-plumbed into all the electrical outlets located around the rescue.
Oh sure.
There's 400 feet of cord reels to the rear that are pre-wired, so you can simply pull a cord reel. As you take one step down, you have all of our over-the-side rescue ropes on the top. Next over, you have a section or two of inflatable fire hose for use in water rescue. Next bag down is our over-the-side bag. Has all of our rope rescue equipment in it with the exception of the rope bags. And then you get into our water rescue gear and ice rescue gear.
Wow. Now look at the shovels. Any kind.
So pretty much any piece of equipment you could need would be located as far as tools on these
here.
shelves. Basic shovels, digging and
Oh,
grubbing
yeah.
tools. You have a air-powered hammer for shoring. You have a gas-powered hammer for shoring. That is a rebar cutter or a heavy metal cutter.
Oh sure.
And then just a complete selection of axes, pry bars, Halligans,
Oh yeah.
and sledgehammers on the other side. Along with a series of pickets for creating anchor points.
Right.
And bolt cutters on the opposite.
Wow.
Up top there, you'll see the other end of our Stokes baskets.
Right.
And then what's called a Carlson Rescue Board, which is a water and ice use board.
Oh sure. Wow. Boy, look at that.
As you move on to this, you have a series of 3 saws in here. You have Stihl 034 rescue saw. Which has a special blade on it for cutting through just about anything except for metal. You have K12 saw. This is a rescue saw, and this blade will cut through anything, whether it be masonry, metal, wood. And then to the rear, you have what's actually a concrete chainsaw.
Oh yeah, sure.
So it's a chainsaw that's specifically for cutting concrete.
Yeah.
As you move up top here, you have a heavy braking hammer to the rear. It's a 65-pound braking hammer. You have an air cart next to it, which is a continuous air supply for the confined space equipment you saw on the other side. You have an oxygen gasoline cutting torch, very similar to any cutting torch that you'd see, but it only uses gasoline and oxygen instead of acetylene.
Oh, sure.
And then you have a few braking hammers, and then a couple sawzalls.
Wow. How complete is this? Ah. This is neat. How long did it take you to design? You worked with the company and...
Yeah, we actually worked with Pierce on this. It took us about a full year from beginning to end to get the design concept down.
Right.
And then it took them about 6 months to go ahead and do the engineering on it.
Right. Now does this have capability of transporting victims?
It's not intended to transport.
Right, okay.
It has a rear walk-in area, which is can seat up to 4 people. So you can have 2 in the front and 4 in the back. A 6-person unit is generally what a rescue company is supposed to be, so it has the ability to do that.
Sure.
And in a dire straits situation, I suppose we could, just like we could in any of our equipment, but the intent was not there to transport.
I see, right.
It was more of a climate control environment. So if our personnel were to go in for an ice rescue and get wet and cold, we could put them in a warm environment. If it's hot, we can put them in a cool environment, as we can with our patients while we're awaiting the ambulance.
That's great. Well, this is really something. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for the tour of this equipment, and Big Bear is well equipped, I can assure you. Just about, well, they can handle anything. There's nothing they can't handle with the equipment that they have. And the personnel, their firefighters are constantly training. They never sit around. You think that when they don't have a fire going that they can just sit in and watch television, but they don't do that. They polish the equipment, they keep it up. You're busy all the time.
Absolutely, and we have the equipment for it. As long as we can keep the staffing that we have, we'll be able to do well.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Jeff Swing, thanks so much. Firefighter, paramedic, designer.
Thank you, Ron.
I noticed on a lot of the over the sides that you really handle everything. I mean, you know how to do the ropes, and
the majority of our guys also know how to handle just about everything. I've just been fortunate enough to be on the majority of them.
Yeah, okay, very good. Well, thank you so much. So from the Big Bear Lake Fire Department, the Moon Ridge Station, this is, I hope that you can appreciate everything the Big Bear Lake Fire Department does, and all the others. We can't leave out Big Bear City or County 49, because they're also trained, but Big Bear Lake is the biggest and the largest and has the most equipment. So that's it from here. Now don't go away. I'll be back after these messages.